You're thinking about the future of CME? It's a good question because the players that should be more heavily involved in CME are not. Healthcare in the US has become similar to the way it is in many other countries. That is, more than half of the costs of healthcare are paid for by the government. Like some other governments in Europe and Asia, government-provided healthcare doesn't recognize the role of CME for the most part. It's shunted to one side. And that's happened in the US, where we've had to do a lot of lobbying, if you will, with federal agencies to get them to recognize that CME ought to play a role and that it can make a difference in both the quality and the efficiency of delivery of care. The other element of change that has to occur is the recognition that CME is increasingly becoming data-based on a relatively local level. That is, an individual hospital or healthcare system for a region needs to be able to pinpoint what are the gaps in knowledge and delivery of care in this hospital, not necessarily among all anesthesiologists. And how do we rectify that for this hospital? That's not been recognized widely, but that's where the data is. People talk about medical specialty societies being the primary focus for delivering CME, and that's what it's been. And then complaints, and they were voiced at this meeting too. You hear us that European medical societies aren't doing much with building the right kinds of databases for needs assessment. And they're not, but they aren't in the US either, because the data is not readily available to a medical society because it's in the delivery system. And we need to say the hospitals, the healthcare systems that employ physicians are the ones that need to be primarily responsible for the development of CME that can be targeted locally at audiences where the data are available to see where the gaps in care are. And so far, those healthcare systems have not taken the responsibility for either having successful departments of CME or funding them, even though it's usually the hospital or the healthcare system that can benefit most by reducing length of stay, improving the quality of care, saving costs, improving quality. So that's a big issue for the future of CME in the US, but I think worldwide.